You are listening to the Fairways and Fundraising podcast, powered by Golf Event Planning, discussing charity fundraising and successful golf outings, along with tips and tricks of the trade. Now here's your host, Larry Battaglia.
Hello, and welcome to Fairways and Fundraising, powered by Golf Event Planning. I'm your host, Larry Battaglia. This is a special bonus edition, episode number 15. Today we have with us remotely the co-founder and CEO of CHIPPO Golf, Brendan McAuley. How you doing, Brendan?
Doing well, Larry. Doing well. How are you?
Doing good, as best we can these days. Obviously, we're the world has been put on hold here for a little bit, and some of our events now are on hold and being postponed. But want to still provide relevant content to our listeners, something that'll just provide a little bit of a distraction these days. And why not talk about something fun like CHIPPO Golf? If you don't know what CHIPPO is, you're really missing out. It's really a fun game, and something that was just a brilliant idea that these guys came up with. Brendan, how did you come up with the concept of CHIPPO Golf? And maybe explain a little bit further, what is exactly CHIPPO?
Sure. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, CHIPPO is the glorious love child of golf and cornhole. So it's a combination of backyard games like cornhole. Looks very much like a cornhole set, except the boards are slightly different size than cornhole. There's 3 holes on the board, 2 in the top corners and 1 in the center. There's netting attached to the holes. Comes with chipping mats made of rubber and AstroTurf. And the whole idea is that it's a golf game that combines elements of traditional and classic backyard games like cornhole and washers and other types of and horseshoes and other types of games, but adds on golf element to that. We launched it in the beginning of 2017. We launched through a Kickstarter campaign. We were trying to raise about $10,000 to get this thing off the ground. Ended up going viral. CHIPPO was found by Golf Digest and Golf.com and Barstool Sports, and videos that were posted on CHIPPO went viral and were viewed 10 million times and shared hundreds of thousands of times. And we ended up raising over $230,000 on Kickstarter in 30 days. So it was a great sort of way to kick it off. But, we had been working on it for months and months ahead of that. I just sort of finished up business school and knew that I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. I come from a big athletic family, and so anytime there was a party, there's always some sort of a backyard game, and whether that was cornhole, which I discovered in college and then brought home to my hometown, or, horseshoes or lawn darts or can jam or spike ball or something like that. And so one morning after a party at my house, I was in my backyard and the cornhole set was out, and I happened to have my wedge in my hand and just started chipping balls at the cornhole set. And, something sort of clicked in my brain. I said, well, this is kind of fun. Why doesn't something like this exist? And so we did, a bunch of research, and my partner Matt and I were working on another sort of entrepreneurial thing. And I sort of pitched this idea to him, and he said, this could be fun. So we decided to man up and run with it.
And I think that's the whole theme, is it is fun. And what better way to do something fun than create this business around golf and fun? I mean, anybody can do it. It's great for the whole family, not just golfers. A great way to even teach young kids how to chip and how to get into the game of golf. But there's a lot that went into this. I mean, you're talking about, trying to scale a business here, and, production. I think you have 2 locations, right? One on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. And then the golf balls are special too, right?
Yeah, it has been a really cool experience. I think your first point, that anyone can play it, is something that we've definitely found. When we launched it, we thought we were creating like a fun party game for people like our age that you could play at the beach or the tailgate. or like the man cave or backyard barbecues. But, when we launched it, we started hearing some great stuff, like PGA professionals would come to us at trade shows or just call us or email us and say, this has been great for our youth golfers. Like all they really want to do is sit on the range and, bang their driver, but this gets them working on their short game. And it's a fun, competitive thing that, they've seen their uncles and cousins play cornhole in the backyard. So they like understand it right away and they get what they're doing. And it's a fun, challenging, it's repetitive. So for youth golf, that was really, fun to hear. And then all the way up to, we've had like retirement communities and, old age homes come to us and say, some of the guys who love golf and can't get out to the course anymore, we have this set up in the yard or indoors in the rec room, and they just sit there and play CHIPPO golf all day. So it really has been cool to see people of all ages and families, take to the game. But yeah, and then on the second part of that question, it's not easy, taking a silly idea and turning it into a product and then building a business around that product. But it has been, one of the coolest things that I've been able to do, to sort of see something that came out of my brain. We've partnered with, Tiger Woods and the PGA Tour. We have a licensing agreement with them. So there's PGA Tour players have played this and sold all over the world. And so it's been a really, really interesting and fun experience.
Yeah. How cool is that? I mean, you guys are usually at the big PGA Tour events. You've been at the Masters. I bet you have some great stories of some great guys and PGA professionals that you've met. Yeah,
well, we met John Daly. We hung out with John Daly a couple of times. We've done some fun stuff.
Talk about some
like
stories.
Co-marketing and events with. He has a beverage brand. Yeah, he's a fun guy. We have done a few events with the Tiger Woods Foundation. We've done events with the Boomer Esiason Foundation. We have now in our second year of partnership with Ernie Els for Autism's Foundation, Kevin Kisner's Foundation. Another thing that we do that's really cool, which is one of the ways that we've gotten sort of exposure and got to meet all these people, is like we launched an initiative early on called CHIPPO for Charity. When we launched the business, one of the first things that we heard all the time from people emailing us and calling us was, hey, I have this charity golf outing that, that we think that this would be a great item for us to auction off, or for us to sort of set up at, at the putting green instead of a typical putting challenge or whatever people do. We could have CHIPPO set up and people can play and, take shots and win prizes and get people engaged. We couldn't really handle all of those requests that we were getting on a one-off basis. So we created a program called CHIPPO for Charity. And since we launched the business, we've supported over 100 different charity organizations by either donating product, donating time, or money to these great events. So that's been a really fun thing for us to do and sort of give back.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. All our golf outings, our clients, you're always very generous in donating to each of our golf events that we run for raffle, and the word's starting to get out there. I have some clients that tell me, after they saw it, they started to play it or they bought a set, and now they're totally addicted. It can be a fun, addicting game. But, you guys are also doing some things now with the crisis that's going on, the coronavirus that we have going on here in the world. Why don't we talk a little bit about that, and also how this game can also keep you occupied while you're sort of staying at home and secluded?
Yeah, well, it's definitely very scary and strange, and you never want to make it seem like you're trying to profit or make sales or whatever off of a pandemic or something scary that's going on in the world. But this is a game that is great for indoors. It's great for just hanging out in the backyard and playing. And so, we like to say it was built for social distancing. It's a great way to work on your short game while working from home. But we early on, we sort of realized that if people are going to be stuck in their house for months, a month, who knows how long it's going to be, they're going to be searching for something, to do, to occupy the time. And so we think CHIPPO is perfect for that. And we've had a lot of people reach out and say that, and had a lot of reviews start to come in saying like, it's keeping my kids occupied while they're stuck in the house. But, it's a way for people to distract themselves and be entertained and, have a good time, stay competitive, get active, but without really leaving the house. Regular golf, getting out to the course has been allowed in a lot of places.
Some places are shutting down.
But I think you're starting to see some places shut down. And so with this, we're running a big sale. So we don't really run sales all that often, but we figure this is a good way for us we can help people do something that's maybe a little bit distracting or help them have a little bit of fun. Let's do it. So we're running 30% off our entire site, and then 50% off actually any apparel or other gear that we have on the website. And we're doing some cool stuff online too. So we're having people who have a CHIPPO set post video of themselves playing, and it's a contest. So you take 5 shots, consecutive shots, and your best 5-shot score gets entered into the contest. We've partnered with Grayson, which is a really great high-end golf apparel company that's been out there for a few years. It's killing it. And Footjoy, which everyone knows Footjoy, and Foray Golf, which is a great women's golf apparel company based out of New York, to give away prizes to the highest score at the end of the month. And so we've had a lot of good submissions and a lot of activity on social, and it's just sort of a fun way for people to get engaged. There's no sports on TV. There's no golf on TV. So if we can create some, fun and interesting content and have people, get involved and compete and win something, that's, what we've been trying to do. And it's been good so far. I think people are having fun with it.
And the website is chippogolf.com. You can also find them on Instagram at CHIPPO Golf. Definitely check them out. You'll see what all the buzz is about. And again, as Brendan said, 30% off now, during this pandemic, off of all their sets. We hope you like this episode. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review. We appreciate it. The background for you. You said you come from a very athletic family. Obviously, you play golf. When did you start playing golf?
And I've been playing, I guess, since I was probably like 8 or 9. I've been playing golf for a long time. I'm not very good. I would never, I grew up just playing at like the local municipal courses with my dad and my brothers and, whoever would take me. Really started to like it and play a little bit more in high school. Went away to college and played a sport in college, so didn't really have too much time, but then got into it a little bit after college. Then work and kids and life and everything gets in the way of your golf game, and so don't get a chance to really play all that much anymore. That love for that hours on a Saturday to go play anymore. It's golf, but it's none of the things that are typically associated with golf. From a negative standpoint, outsiders who don't know or love the sport think that it could be expensive and time consuming, and rich white guys talking about stocks in a country club with their collars up, and CHIPPO is golf, but it's none of those things. And if you look at some of the growth numbers around golf, last year was one of the first years in a long time where we actually saw growth, but all of that growth actually came from off-course golf. So that's like top golfs of the world think that games like CHIPPO that have sprung up after we came up have certainly helped those numbers. So yeah, I mean, it's been cool to watch that sort of start to happen, but I think the game itself came out of my desire to play the sport, even though I didn't have the time to really do it that much anymore.
Yeah, well, I certainly can relate to that. I got into the golf business 30 years ago, and as an assistant golf professional, and now had this business for 20 years, and it's like you're really close to it, but you're that much further away. You don't really have all the time to work on your own game and go out and play, but it keeps us in and around the game that we love. Again, CHIPPO Golf is the glorious love child of golf and cornhole. You got to check them out on Instagram at CHIPPO Golf, and also check out their website, chippogolf.com. We're talking with Brendan McAuley. We hope you like this episode. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review. We appreciate it. So, Brendan, I guess the big question is, how often do you play CHIPPO?
Well, since I've been stuck in my house every day. Before that, I play as much as I can. Definitely more than I play regular golf. It's like a typical cornhole game. Play 2-on-2. There's a few different ways to play. The most popular is probably just like cornhole scoring. So you get 3 shots. You take the 3 shots, you set the boards up about 15 feet apart. You take 3 shots. If your shot hits the board on a fly, that's 1 point. If it ends up landing in the middle hole, that's 3 points. If it ends up landing in either of the top, it's 5 points. If you bounce off the chipping mat that sits in front of the board that doubles 3 shots, your partner takes 3 shots, and then it's like cancellation scoring, just like cornhole. So if I get 10 and they get 8, I get 2 points. Then it goes to the next 2 guys, and you play till 18.
Very cool. And what about the golf balls? We started to talk about that a little earlier, but they're not exactly golf balls that are used.
Yeah, when we were designing and prototyping and doing research to build, to create the game, we realized pretty early on that you got to have good balls to play. And there's a lot of different, we wanted to make sure that we had a practice ball, not a real ball. The whole idea behind the game is so that you want to be able to play it anywhere and play it anywhere safely. So a tailgate with a bunch of cars around, or in your basement, drywall, and with people around, so if they get hit with the ball, it doesn't hurt. And so we found these balls. We found this company called Almost Golf. They've been making these practice balls for quite some time, widely regarded as the best practice ball out there. We did a bunch of testing and we agreed with that. So we sort of formed a partnership with them where those are the balls that we include with our game. And they're made of like a high density foam. So when you hit it, it feels and plays as close to a real golf ball as anything out there. But it won't break the car window. It won't hurt if it hits you. It won't dent drywall if you're playing inside. You actually took it to the range. You could like move it and shape it, and it just goes about a third of the distance of a regular golf ball. But like I said, it feels and plays as close to the real thing as anything out there. So you can really practice your game while using these balls.
Yeah, and again, goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I mean, there was a lot that went into really creating this fun and exciting game to really get it to where it is today. And you guys are crushing it. I mean, you're everywhere. I follow you on social media. You're at all these PGA Tour events. You're working with so many great organizations. I know it's got to feel pretty amazing and incredible. We love our partnership with you. So do our clients. And if we can help get the word out there this way, through the events that we do and the charities we work with, hopefully it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. It does feel good. I mean, probably, and it did. You look at the game and it's sort of just very basic and easy to understand. And, I think that is true with a lot of good ideas. Those are the ones that work, are the ones that are easy to understand. And, one of the coolest moments, to your point, was when we won the best new product at the 2018 PGA Merchandise Show, which, is the biggest trade show in golf. And all of that work, and there's a lot of work that goes into creating a great product, and then there's a lot of thought that goes into building a brand and a company around that. And both of those things we took really seriously in the beginning, wanted to build something that, reflected, our values and we wanted to build a company that we could get behind and that our friends and family could get behind. So not only a great product where we were constantly thinking about playability and how fun it could be and whether people, would really love it. And so that's like all the way from what is the angle going to be to what type of turf are we going to use to what type of balls to what type of netting to what material, what should it weigh, what should the size be. We spent months and months testing different prototypes and figuring out what would be the best product. Not necessarily from like, how can we make it as cheap as possible? Although you have to think about like cost and pricing and what price point you think people would buy it at. But really, like, our most important thing was playability. Like, are people going to love to play this game? And so, yeah, like that, we spent a lot of time, and then getting that award with thousands of companies at the PGA show, winning the best new product was great validation and really felt cool.
No doubt about it. That is some accomplishment. And again, you get CHIPPO Golf, you open up the box, you take it out, and you're starting to play, within minutes. So you guys definitely have succeeded in making it just a very user-friendly game that anybody can just get into. It's great to teach the juniors of the game. And, when I was a golf pro, I'll never forget it. You'd ask, an amateur coming down to the range, taking a lesson, they can hit a full shot, but sometimes you'd say, can you hit this 15 feet, 15 yards from here? I want you to hit this spot. It's not that easy. You watch the average player trying to chip a ball to a certain spot. It's not that easy. So this is definitely a challenging game, I think, for the average golfer.
Yeah. And it's the thing that pros have told us is that it's all about the repetition. When you play a game of CHIPPO to 18, you're probably going to be hitting 50 shots. And then if you're just sitting in your backyard, just messing around, you're going to be hitting a bunch of shots in a row, and you're working on your touch and your control and your distance. And so it is a game, but it can also be a training aid and can also help people work on that aspect of their game.
And the repetition really prevents, pressure from creeping in. Those are usually the shots where maybe the hands get a little tight, they get a little nervous, trying to hit the perfect shot in a pressure situation, maybe for, a couple dollar Nassau or whatever the guys are playing for on the weekend. So the repetition aspect can definitely help somebody kind of work on their game so that when they're out on the course, it just becomes second nature.
Yeah, and I will say, although I am probably a little bit biased, the best part of my golf game right now is my short game. It's really the only one that I have time to actually practice on, and I do that when I'm messing around with CHIPPO in the house or in the backyard or at events or whatever. So I feel confident about nothing on the course except when I get around the green and I have a short little chip shot.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to get my set because the short game is the worst part of my game, always has been.
Yeah.
So I need some work on it. I can't thank you enough for our partnership for the last few years now, and I'd love to see all the great things you guys are doing. Again, out there, it's CHIPPO Golf on Instagram, and their website is chippogolf.com. Definitely check them out. As Brendan said, they have a 30% off sale going on right now just to kind of help with the pandemic that we're dealing with. It can definitely give you something to do, something fun for the family to do while we're stuck at home. But, soon we're going to get through this and, we'll all be back out on the course, and we're going to love implementing CHIPPO Golf and some of our on-course activities that we're going to do later in the year. So looking forward to that. And again, thanks for coming on here, Brendan, and doing our first remote podcast, just trying to provide a little distraction and maybe talk about something fun right now.
No, yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Check out the CHIPPO Quarantine Challenge on our Instagram account, which is at CHIPPO Golf. If you visit our website, chippogolf.com, the discount code for 30% off. Yeah, Larry, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Brendan, can you give them the code
again? Sure, the code is HOME30.
Okay, so the code again is HOME30, and go on to their Instagram and their website and check out the CHIPPO Quarantine Challenge. Again, Brendan, thanks a lot for the content today, and stay safe, stay strong, and stay positive. All right, ciao for now.
Thank you for listening to the Fairways in Fundraising podcast, powered by Golf Event Planning. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and please remember to subscribe, rate, and review.